Haven't you ever heard the phrase, the customer's always right?
Let me tell you a little secret. Customer's always an asshole!
Hey everybody, Taz from Critical Thinking Anarchist here. Wanted to play that clip because this needs to stop. No, I'll say is, someone who has worked in customer service and everything else like that. There are two things going on right now that are really, really killing entertainment in multiple ways. The first one is blaming customers. Blaming customers. It's your fault. The Accolade isn't ruining Star Wars. You are. It's your fault for being racist and bigoted. It's your fault for being et cetera, et cetera. It's your fault for not liking this. For ever, pretty much, it used to be, I don't agree with the customer is always right. Because a lot of times the customer is an asshole. But there are, if the customer isn't buying, maybe it's because the product isn't good. You definitely at least have to look at it. You can't just say, no, the product is good. It's the people who are wrong. How does that make any sense? Sometimes the product is good and that you're just not appealing to the people in the correct way. Sometimes it is that. So sometimes, you make a good product, but you just don't have an audience. I can't say that's not what's going on in a lot of entertainment. They're trying to create a product for an audience they want to exist, but doesn't seem to exist, or at least the audience that they're making it for doesn't consume their product. They say they want their product, but then they don't buy it. And then they're mad at the people who they didn't make it for. Well, it's your fault. Well, you told us not to buy it. You told us it wasn't for us. Why is that my fault? I don't understand that. Why am I being blamed for not buying the product that you said wasn't for me? You said it was for these other people. And now they're not buying your product. And you're confused by this. Like, they haven't ever bought your product. I'm the one that's always bought your product. This is the thing I wanted to touch on for a long time. And I'll make a whole nother, I honestly want to make a customer service series, making a whole other thing for this. Places always want to expand their audience, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you should absolutely want to expand your audience as a business. How you grow your business is expanding your audience, appealing to more people. The problem with that is how to do it while keeping your core audience. You have a core audience, so you develop a core audience, or I should say, or a core audience already exists in the case of like Star Wars, because it was a bought IP, intellectual property. So Disney bought Star Wars from George Lucas. George Lucas had built an audience over approximately 40 years before he sold it, 35-ish years. So he built an audience and then sold it afterwards. Then Disney has a new audience, or has an audience that's built in. And they sit there and go, okay, and at first they did try to simply expand their audience while keeping their core audience. They tried to do that. Again, it's a tough thing to do, especially 30, 40, 50 years on. You're talking your audience expands up to 5 generations, depending on how you look at a generation of people. So somewhere between 2 and 5 generations at the very least. And you want to expand that, to the younger generations. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to do that. How you do that is another matter. So they made that attempt. And at first they grew their audience. And they lost a few people, but that's not a big deal. I mean, you're never going to please everybody all the time. But for the most part, they didn't alienate anybody. The people just said, you know what, I'm sticking with the originals. I'm sticking with the original trilogy, or I'm sticking with the first 6. I don't need the last three when it comes to the movies and things like that. Then they did Boba Fett. And you know what? They grew their audience. And even a lot of the old people came back and were like, this is not bad. We can go along with this. But then they started attacking people. And this is the weird thing. Like, you can make new stuff and not attack people. But the thing is, they think engagement is engagement. It's only engagement for a certain amount of time. And then it becomes apathy. Love, hate, whatever else, as long as people are talking about it, it's good, bad, it's good, right? Because that is, as Eric July says, nerds like fighting over stupid shit. And this isn't just about Star Wars. This is a big thing. I'm just using Star Wars as the most recent example. Doctor Who's done it. Again, that's another Disney-influenced property. There are all sorts of video games that are doing this. Hollywood is doing this all over the place, where they are blaming the audience for not liking their product, when for decades, even when good things were made, I mean, that was probably one of the beauties of the home video store, home video rental, is you go into the video store, you're like, oh man, I've seen all the major releases. And so you start looking at some other things, and you find that odd thing, like, oh, I never heard of this. Oh, it's got Johnny Depp in it. It's got Tom Cruise in it. It's got Dabney Coleman. It's got, some, you got a name in there. You're like, okay, I never heard of this, or I heard about this. I never had, an inkling to watch it. Well, I've got nothing better to do. And sometimes you'd catch these on home video, and you'd watch them, afterwards, and like you start telling your friends, word of mouth starts picking up, and these things, these movies make money in home video sales and rentals after the fact. And in fact, guys like Kevin Smith, this is how they built their career. His movies didn't, specifically with Kevin Smith, his movies didn't make a lot of money in the theaters. But they built a cult following over the years in video rentals and video sales. It's easier, it's better and worse when it comes to streaming, because of course you've already paid for the service, so everything is quote unquote free. It's not really free, you've already paid for it, but it's a lot easier to access. The big problem comes with the fact that there's so much to access that a lot of stuff just gets lost again. It's, why would I want to watch this brand new thing that came out when there's this other thing that I know I love, and I love watching it, a couple times a year, once a year, or whatever. I love watching it then, and I can just throw it on, and I know I'm going to enjoy myself. So unless they make a conscious effort to watch something that they don't know, it's tougher in many ways in the streaming era. But again, you don't blame your audience for this. This is never the right way to go. It's never a good thing to blame people, especially the ones who spend the money for your product. You never blame the customer for not liking something you're putting out. Now, you can blame them for attacking people, and there's nothing wrong with that. If people are attacking people like, oh, I dislike it and you should too, I can't believe you're such a POS for liking this. How dare you? But that is so small, so minuscule, and they're attacking. But the thing is, that's not what media and the companies are coming out at people for. They're attacking people preemptively, like, oh, you got these concern trolls, you got these bigots, and they're downvoting. They're review bombing. They don't like this particular person because they are non-white, gender queer fluid, use pronouns, etc., etc. And the thing is, most of that audience is your money spending audience. They're the ones that have the money. So regardless of what, so most of the people that are doing that, of course, there's only a few of them. There aren't many. And I apologize, I'm kind of rambling on about this, but But the thing is, you're attacking a broad spectrum of people. You're saying all straight white males are the problem. We made this for females. Okay, so the males don't go. Well, a lot of females like going to these things, with their significant others. They don't, women especially, I've rarely known a single woman who likes watching a movie alone in a theater. Um, yeah, more so at home. I mean, again, which is where the streaming services come in. Um, but of course, if their significant other is a man, um, they're going to be like, "Oh, hon, you like Star Wars? Let's watch this together." And the guy is going to sit there and be like, "I don't want to watch it. You can watch it. I'm not going to watch it." And now the woman has a choice to make: do I watch it by myself, or do I watch it with, or do I not watch it at all? And a lot of them just simply don't watch it. A lot of the guys who are watching do so because, well, I'm already, invested in the universe. I already invested in the product, so I wanna catch everything. And then of course you have your few people that hate watch things but for the most part, that's again a very small portion. A lot of people just do it because they've always done it, uh, and they're being blamed for this. The more and more it's like going to church in the old days. In the old days, you got told how you're a sinner and you're going to hell. You get told this every week. And it was one of my favorite episodes of The Simpsons, where Homer stops going to church. And God talks to him, and he's like, "Look, I already know, I'm not the best guy in the world, and, I'm probably going to hell. So why do I need to go to church every week to be told, this thing over and over again, how bad I am?" And God's like, "Hey, you got a point." you know? So it's kind of the thing here. Like, why do I need to be told over and over again? Because that's what they sacrifice storytelling for message. Or even when they haven't in the media, that's what they're doing. They're going out to the media, or the media themselves are doing it. It's like, well, I don't need to watch this. I don't need to be told how horrible of a person I am in my entertainment. I've got other things I can do. I've got 100 years of movies and TV shows I can watch. I've got video games galore that I've never played, or that I have played and that I enjoy playing, that don't tell me how horrible of a person I am. I can spend time with my family. I can go outside. I can ride a bike. I can drive across country. I can swim. I can do all these other things that don't involve getting lectured. And I mean, that's the whole big point on that portion. Stop blaming the audience. It's not their fault that they don't like what you made. Now then, we got the other portion of this that needs to stop. So many people work so hard to bring this game to you, to bring this movie to you, to do. I don't care. I don't care how fucking hard they worked. You know what? I know a lot of people who work hard and are fucking bad at their jobs. I know people who work hard, are bad at their jobs, and get promoted. Just because you work hard on something doesn't mean you put out a good product. There have been plenty of times I've worked hard on dinner and burnt the shit out of it and you can't eat it. Doesn't matter how hard I worked on it. If it's shit, it's shit. This happens. People work on things. People work hard on things. There are tons and tons of bad movies and TV shows out there that people worked really hard on. And then they see the finished product and go, yeah, that's terrible. And you can't defend it. They're like, well, some people work hard for a paycheck. They don't believe in it. They don't like it. They don't agree with it. But, hey, I got paid for it. So I don't care. I don't care how hard people worked on it. If it sucks, it sucks. If you're bad at your job, you're bad at your job. Maybe you worked hard on it and your portion is good, but the overall product is bad because the entire process of the team that came together didn't come together as a good team. Maybe the overall direction was bad. I don't know. Whatever happened, the finished product wasn't good. Or, in some cases, the finished product was good. You know, you did make a good product, but guess what? There's no audience for it. You made a quality product, but there's no audience for it. Or the price was too high. Sometimes that's the case, you know. A lot of people work hard on a 16 karat diamond, but nobody can afford the thing. So nobody gets paid. I was like, yep, it's a beautiful diamond. Nothing I can do about it. I can't afford a 16 karat diamond. It's for an audience of one. You got to find that one person. So maybe it's that case. Maybe that's the case that, you know, that they worked hard for an audience that's so small that it's not financially beneficial. Either way, still not the fault of the audience. Don't blame the audience for not liking something that people worked hard on. Again, you put out a bad product, you put out a bad product. You put out a product that people don't want to buy, then it doesn't matter how hard people worked on it. You know, breweries left and right go out of business because they don't put out particularly good products, or they do put out particularly good products. Wineries, hard alcohol, things like that. You know, where they put out a product where it's just too expensive for people, or maybe the person making it thought it tastes good, but again, their taste isn't particularly great to begin with. Again, it doesn't matter how hard anybody worked on it. You stop it. Stop telling us how hard people worked on it. It doesn't matter. If you didn't put out a product that people are buying, it doesn't matter how hard people worked on it. If you didn't put out a product people are watching, if you didn't put out a product that people like, it doesn't matter how hard people worked on it. So this needs to stop. Both of these need to stop. Stop blaming the audience. Stop telling me how hard people worked. I don't fucking care. You know, and I'm gonna go even a step further on this. This is kind of the difference between buying something at like Target or Walmart or Amazon versus buying, you know, someone off of Etsy who worked hard on, you know, a hand stitched item. You know, I want a good quality product, yes, and I would love to support that independent creator, but I'm not spending $200 that I can go somewhere else and literally pay 1/10 the price. If I can get it for $20, or I can buy this handmade thing for $200, I don't know what the quality is of the person who made it for $200. If that thing cost me $200, but it's going to fall apart in 2 days, and I have no recourse, then I wasted $200. Meanwhile, if I go to a large corporate, I go to big box retail and I spend $20, I have recourse. You know, I can return it within a certain amount of time if it fails. I also know that if it fails after a certain amount of time, it cost me $20 and I got what I paid for. Most of the time, I'm only using this thing once. Like, unless I know who this person is and trust their work implicitly, that type of you know, again, you're going for a niche audience. I can't support people. You know, I'd love to support a lot more independent creators, but I'm also not going to sit there throwing money away on people I don't know if their quality is worth it, or if they're going to back it up. So again, these need to stop. This needs to stop. I don't care how hard someone worked on it, and I don't care that you know, you can't tell me that I'm the problem when you put out a bad product. Stop it all. The customer is not the problem, and it doesn't matter how hard you worked on it. And I apologize for this being 20 minutes. But anyway, you guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, all the fun stuff. I thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. You guys take care. Bye for now.